Hello everyone, welcome back to HMC Med Kitchen with Dr. Williams. We here at the Med Kitchen like to use lots of new and unusual ingredients to expand our palate as we try to follow the principles of our Mediterranean diet cooking. I have heard from a few of you that some of those new ingredients perhaps might be a little concerning for some of the family members that you cook for. So today I thought I'd share a recipe that's a little bit more along the traditional lines of recipes, following what we call the standard American diet. I like to call it the SAD diet, but we're going to give it a few twists to help it follow our Mediterranean diet principles. We're going to be making some beef stroganoff today, and as a side we'll roast some broccoli with a little lemon and garlic. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is cook our noodles. And beef stroganoff traditionally uses egg noodles. I'm going to use something a little different, and this is one of those twists that I mentioned. We're going to be using some whole wheat farfalle, which is a type of pasta, very similar to egg noodles, but the key is the whole wheat. We want to use whole grains instead of processed grains. So we're just going to dump this into some boiling water and let it cook. All right, so while that pasta is working, we're going to work on our beef stroganoff. And for our beef today, we're using flank steak. What we want to use is a good, low-fat, high-protein beef. And in this case, I'm using flank steak. Some people can use ground beef. You might use 90-10 ground beef, but personally, I like the steak. So we're going to season this with a little salt and pepper before we put it on to cook. Just about a teaspoon of salt and a half a teaspoon or so of some ground black pepper. And then we're going to add about a tablespoon of some olive oil to our pan. And then we'll just dump our beef in there and let it get going. And we just want to get this nice and brown. I'm cooking this over some medium-high heat. And I've sliced it thin against the grain so it holds its shape. You want to get most of that moisture gone and make sure our meat's fully cooked. All right, that looks good. Now we're going to just take our meat out and set it aside here. Now to our pan, we're going to add one chopped yellow onion, and we'll get those sauteed. And we just want to soften those up a little bit, and then we'll add some mushrooms. You can see in our pan there's a lot of nice browning going on. That's going to add a lot of flavor to our dish here in a few minutes. Those are going pretty well. We're going to add a pound of chopped mushrooms. And again, we'll let those cook for a little while and soften and become flavorful. Those are looking good. Wish you could be here to smell this. These mushrooms smell amazing. Mushrooms add what we call umami to our dish. Umami is one of our tastes that's kind of an earthy, wholesome taste that gives a lot of flavor to dishes. So we like to use mushrooms in a lot of our different dishes. I'm going to add 3 cloves of garlic and let that saute for a little bit. And then we'll work on making our sauce. That's looking great. Now we're going to make our sauce, and to do that, we'll want to initially deglaze this pan and get all those brown bits that are on the bottom with a half a cup of red wine. We want to scrape our pan and get all those, all the flavor that's in those brown bits that are on the bottom of our pan. That's doing great. Now we're going to add 2 cups of beef broth. And we'll bring that back up to a boil. So this is back up to a simmer, and we're just going to let that cook a little bit and reduce down. And actually, we'll go ahead and add our meat back in now. Make sure we get that full flavor of the meat. All right, so while that is reducing, and that'll take 10 to 15 minutes, I'm going to work on making our roasted broccoli with some lemon and garlic. So let's do that, and we'll do that right here so we can keep an eye on our dish. So here we have about a pound to a pound and a half of some broccoli that's just been chopped up into small chunks. To that, I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. All right, that's good. And then we're going to add about 3 cloves of garlic. And we're going to give a squeeze of some lemon in there. And that's about a tablespoon or so of lemon juice. And then we'll add a little kosher salt, just about a half a teaspoon. and about a half a teaspoon of some ground black pepper. And that's all there is to it. We'll just mix that up, put it on a lined cookie sheet, and pop it into a 425-degree oven for about 15 or 20 minutes. It'll be delicious. Just spread that out. And it is good to go. This is looking good. We want it to reduce just a little bit further. To help thicken this sauce, we normally add some flour. Oftentimes, it's best to do that before adding the liquid. I missed that step, so I'm going to add a little bit now. That may end up giving us a few little lumps of flour, but shouldn't be a big deal. This is about 2 tablespoons, and I'm using some whole wheat flour. And we'll just sprinkle it around here and stir it in. Not bad. Let's see, I think our noodles are done. Let's test them. We just want them to be soft, but not mushy. Let's give one a try. Those are about perfect. I'm just going to rinse those in a colander and they'll be ready to go when we're ready for them. And we're just going to rinse with a little cool water just so they don't stick to each other. That's good. We'll just let those sit. All right, our sauce is thickening up nicely, so we're going to add a few last ingredients to give this extra flavor and make it that stroganoff that you're used to seeing. We're going to add about a half a cup of Greek yogurt. I use non-fat yogurt. We're going to add 1.5 tablespoons of a Creole or stone ground mustard. We're going to add a tablespoon of some fresh thyme. So let's add those. And then we'll see how the consistency of our sauce is. We may need to add a little water too. We'll see how that goes. So here's our Greek yogurt. Again, about a half of a cup. And here's our stone ground mustard. And this is our fresh thyme. And we'll just mix those in. Creamy goodness. That sauce is just about right. I'm going to let it reduce just a little bit more, and then we'll be ready to eat. So our broccoli's been in for about 10 minutes. I think it's done. We don't want to overcook it. I think I said 15 to 20 minutes before, but 10 minutes for this particular batch of broccoli was good. So let's take it out. Yeah, that looks really good. Perfect. It's soft, but it's not mushy. Got a few little brown edges around on some of the corners. Again, the main thing is we don't want to overcook where it gets mushy and just kind of falls apart. So this is just the way we want it. So here we have our stroganoff, and I'm serving it with our roasted broccoli with lemon and garlic. A serving size for this stroganoff is 3/4 to a cup, and that runs about 350 calories. Let's see how it tastes. Those mushrooms and that red wine bring out that umami flavor that is so rich and deep. I really enjoy that. Tastes very good. Thank you for joining us at HMC Med Kitchen, where we love food that loves you back. See you next time.